Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE SmackDown episode 1063 and 205 Live episode 160, both broadcast on January 3rd, 2020. So to kick things off in this episode, as it turns out, 205 Live is not moving to filming at Full Sail, at least not right now, as this episode was filmed over there at in Memphis. Is it Memphis, Tennessee? Wherever SmackDown took place. It took place in the same arena afterwards. So we'll see how long that continues. Yeah, that's all. On that aspect of things, that's all I have to say about that. I think it would benefit. I still think it would benefit the show greatly to go either before SmackDown, to film it before SmackDown, or to film it at Full Sail every week along with NXT. But yeah, that's not. They're continuing how they've done it. But man, if it's just on a whim, like, oh, you know what, we're not going to have a 205 Live this week, and that kind of thing. It's such a bummer. Like, I'd really like to see it consistently from Full Sail, because it's a lot of the same guys are on both shows anyway. But anyway, before we get to that, in my margins here, I have all my notes for. I'm recording this on Saturday because I ended up staying up. Actually, while I was playing that, I was playing Death Stranding while I was watching the show, and I continued to play Death Stranding until like 2-3 a.m. something like that. Didn't go to bed until 4 a.m. And I have notes in the margin here from the resources I needed to build some roads in Death Stranding and stuff like that. So I'm going to ignore those. It's just number values for the number of metal and ceramics that I needed to load up to take with me. And I'm remembering right now this third set of metals and ceramics, I did not I did not get to where I needed those yet. So maybe at some point I'll remember those. I stuck all those in a private locker. I'll get to them eventually, I guess. Although I realize, like, I could spend all the time in the world getting 5 stars in all of the things, but there's one thing that I can't do because I missed my opportunity to do it earlier in the game, and now I can't do it in my current game. So I think what I need to do is start a brand new game, and knowing what I know now, I can knock a lot of that stuff out like no problem, and it'll go a lot faster than the first time playing through. And maybe that's more time efficient to get all to 100% to platinum the game. I don't know, but this isn't a Death Stranding episode. Let's get to SmackDown. So you open up with Bayley and Sasha Banks. Bayley says that everybody in this arena, everybody watching at home, everybody will fail at their New Year's resolutions. So she's really encouraging about all of that. Lacey and Dana come out. Lacey says, "You keep the name of my daughter out of your mouths," but I don't think they said. I feel like they didn't say anything about her daughter, so I don't know. Maybe they forgot to say, or maybe I wasn't paying attention. I was playing Death Stranding, like I said. And then Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross come out, and Alexa's like, I wonder why are we even in this match? Oh, that's right, because we're going to win, and we're going to go on to get back our tag team championships. But that did not happen. Dana Brooke pinned Sasha Banks, surprisingly. And for some reason, that leads to next week. We're going to have Dana Brooke we're going to have... What is the match that we're going to have? We're going to have Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks next week. Somehow that works out from the result of this match. I don't know. But it was a triple threat match. Obviously, if Alexa or Nikki were the ones that were pinned, then I'd be a little bit worried about their chances of going back after the tag team championships. but they were not involved in the pinfall. So I don't know. We'll see where things go on the tag team front there. This was the only women's match of the night. But, there a lot of them were involved, and we had some Mandy stuff going on. I don't think we saw Sonya at all in this episode. Not that I remember. I don't know. But anyway, Big E talks about how he watched the balls drop. So there we go. Elias sang to Memphis. It seems like he's a face now. He's singing about all the bad guys being super bad. Then we had Dash Wilder versus Shorty G. Shorty G won, but Dash and Dawson both attacked him right after that. But Sheamus interrupts. He comes out and he hits Shorty G with a brogue kick. So he is not aligned with any of these guys. I was really worried for a second, like, what? He's not coming back to be with the Bar. He's coming back to be with Shorty G. Nope. Sheamus is on his own, and he's going to just be tearing through everybody, I hope. Then we had Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. Kofi defeated The Miz. Oh, this sprung from earlier when they were talking about the balls dropping. Big E brought up that The Miz, he's trying to cheer Miz up, but Miz is very disturbed from what happens with all the stuff that's been happening with the Fiend and all that. But Big E points out, hey, you won the most championships in the 2010s. And then Kofi brings up, well, it tied. We both won that many championships. And Miz gets irritated by this, and then it leads to a match happening. But Kofi wins that match, but The Miz attacks Kofi and Big E afterwards. And when I think it was, I don't remember if it was Sarah or not. No, Sarah's not on SmackDown. Whoever went backstage, I think it was, anyway, it doesn't matter. They try to go to Miz's dressing room to get an interview, and who answers the door? John Morrison. The boys are back together, and I'm super excited for that. It would have been really cool if he was just a surprise at the Royal Rumble. No, there's nothing said about him returning at all before that. But in those 2 months between the announcement and the Royal Rumble, like that's a lot of time, and that's a lot of time for him not to be doing anything without people finding out and the rumor spreading and all of that. So I feel like there's probably going to be some other there's probably going to be a big surprise or two. And once those happen, probably in retrospect, we'll see, oh yeah, we didn't need John Morrison to be a surprise entry into the Royal Rumble because we had these other really big surprises happen. And those were great. And instead we got a couple extra weeks of him being part of an interesting storyline, hopefully. Then we had Drew Gulak break some bad news to Otis about Mandy, because he's, I guess, an expert about relationships. And he also says that Otis looks like he's leaking butter. And then I saw on Twitter, I forgot that this was a reference to what he said on there. So he said, that's not butter, that's sweat. And then Drew said, well, then why does he smell like popcorn or something like that? But anyway, he prepared a PowerPoint presentation, but Otis was not having any of it. He attacks him. Then they have a match. I did not write down who won. I assume Otis won, or it was some type of no contest. I don't know. Then we had Braun Strowman versus Cesaro. There's some cool stuff going on here. I was rooting for Cesaro, of course, but Braun came out on top, winning via a power slam. But Braun's his celebration did not last long, as the trio of Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura attacked Braun, because Braun still wants that Intercontinental Championship, and he might have that chance at good old Royal Rumble, perhaps, or maybe even before that. I don't know. And then we have our main event. Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan team up against Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. This kind of, I may have totally missed the setup for this match earlier in the show, but I was like, what is left to happen there? And then, like, as people came out, and then they're talking about a tag team match, like, oh, I missed the setup of this completely, at least within this episode. I mean, this match makes sense. Somewhat. But the Fiend appears during the match. There's a tease right before one of the commercial breaks, just with the sound of him laughing and all that. But he appears. The match does not end for some reason. I don't know if the match ever ended at all in this. Eventually, it had to be a disqualification, I think. But the Fiend appeared and attacked Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan was not the legal competitor yet, or at that time, so that's why the disqualification didn't happen. But Dolph and Corbin, they get Roman Reigns handcuffed to the ropes again. They get all their wide selection of dog foods, the cans of dog food out, ready to smear it all over Roman Reigns yet again. But that was not their song at all. The Usos return, and they save their cousin. And there was much rejoicing. The Bloodline has reunited, and I am super excited about that. I was thinking, like, earlier on Friday, I just knocked my microphone down completely. I was thinking, like, it was either earlier on Friday or like on Thursday or something, earlier in the week at some point. I was thinking, man, it would be awesome if the Usos and Naomi come back. Naomi isn't back yet, but if the Usos are here, I think it's safe to assume that Naomi is not far behind, or maybe she is already ahead. I don't know, but Naomi, she's got to be in the Rumble. She's all of the women's Rumbles so far. She's had those close call spots, and this year we can't miss out on another creative Naomi nearly getting eliminated and maybe even winning the Rumble. That would be pretty exciting. It'd be really exciting for somebody to do one of those really impressive saves and then go on to win, because that's like another level of that accomplishment. It's cool enough to have a really cool save, but to go on to win after that, that's really, really cool. So anyway, but this is about the Usos. They're the ones who appear on screen here. They saved Roman Reigns, and for some reason, referees have handcuff keys. Like when there wasn't planned to be handcuffed. Well, obviously there is planned to be handcuffed, but like they're not part of the match. I think that's kind of interesting that they're like, we don't have keys. Why would we have keys? Why would we have keys? Unless those were that referee's particular personal set of handcuffs. Jessica Carr. Interesting. Anyway, onwards to 205 Live. We had 3 matches here. I didn't take extensive notes. Like I said, I was playing Death Stranding, but it was nice to see all these guys back in action. I meant to watch the 2 year-end best of shows, but I've watched every single episode of 205 Live. Maybe not giving it my full attention every single time, but I feel like I gave my full attention to what would have been in the best of episodes for sure. But anyway, so I'm glad to have more new matches here on 205 Live this week. We opened up with Daivari versus Danny Burch. A masked fan distracted Danny to help Daivari get the win, and that masked fan was the Brian Kendrick. he goes on about how this division he created this division and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll see where that goes. I feel like Kendrick and Gallagher, we haven't seen Gallagher since he headbutted Drake Maverick, but I think that happened on the last episode, that last actual episode of 205 Live anyway. That these guys are in a constant state of flux. Like they're kind of waving like the ocean. That's not a phrase that anybody has ever used, unless they're talking about like waving goodbye. But even then, you're not waving like the ocean. Anyway, then we had the Singh brothers versus some local fellas, and the Singh brothers won. And I just remember, okay, so they're like, they have their like 8mm like 70s home video camera, not video, it's film camera. And so they have it with their whole Bollywood shtick. And there's a replay of the view from their camera. And then Tom was trying to explain why you could see the lens in the shot, saying like, no, you see, that's like the shutter, and you like flip it over and you get another view or something like that. And actually, now that I think of it, what he was saying could actually, if it had, okay, there are the cameras. I'm going to look this up because, let's see, Super 8 camera, because it was just being held next to. Okay, yeah, they have this one. It just has the one lens, but I think, okay, Super 8 camera, multiple lenses. Okay, super spinning, let's like, rotate lens. What? No, that's not. What I'm imagining, I don't know if this is on a Super 8 camera or not. I feel like I've seen a Super 8 camera. Oh, here we go. Okay. A Sekonic Elmatic Super 8mm. Okay. I'm going to look at it. Sekonic Elmatic Super 8 movie camera. This is not the kind of camera that they have, but these cameras, they have a cluster of 3 lenses. So they are like the iPhone 11, like decades ahead of its time, that they had built in. Okay, I don't want the sound on this to play. Okay, so it has 3 lenses on it, and you could you rotate to for which one you're using. So I feel like he was trying to explain it as that's why you could see it, because that's the camera. But one, it isn't that camera. Why am I going so deep into this? I didn't even write down 2 of the competitors that are in the match. One, that's not the kind of camera that they have as a prop for all of this. And 2, I'm very sure that they're designed not to be able to see the other lenses when you're using the one lens. And 3, the active lens would be on top. And so you wouldn't see, if you did see another lens in the frame, it would be at the bottom of the shot, not to the left. So there you go. I enjoyed. I did really enjoy that off the cuff explanation of that, and I missed what instigated him explaining that. I think maybe Aiden was pointing out why it didn't make this camera shot didn't make sense or something. So I just really enjoyed all of that a lot. And then we had the main event, Tony Nese versus Angel Garza. It was not a title match, as we may know that Angel Garza is now the cruiserweight champion, But Angel Garza won the match anyway, so it could have been for the title, and he would have been fine. There's some good stuff, really good stuff in there. I recommend checking that out. I don't remember specifics because I'm recording this the day after because I was so wrapped up in playing Death Stranding and I didn't get around to this till just now. And then today, I went over to my sister's to play with my niece and nephew, a game that I got in the mail today. I'm really excited about, and I'm still excited about it. I played just a few of the games that are in there. I'm going to have to wait to play more of them, but I definitely watch more videos about all of them. It's called Pyramid Arcade, and it's from Looney Labs, which they're the makers of Flux and I forget the other card game, Lunacy. That's the other one. And a whole bunch of other games, but this one is like their biggest game that they've put out yet. And it's a collection of 22 games. There's a whole bunch of other games that other people have created or that they have created, but they didn't publish inside of this, all the rules and stuff. There's additional rules that you can get on the website and other websites and all that. But it's mainly the main thing about the pyramids is that they have these trios of pyramids. They're these little plastic. I think they're plastic. Anyway, they're these little plastic pyramids. There's small ones. They're the 1 pieces. There's the 2 pieces. There's mediums. And there's the 3 pieces. They're large. And they nest inside of each other. And they also stack on each other and all of that. And it's depending on the games, they're used in all different kinds of ways. And it's really, really fun. But there's also a small version of it. So let me go. Looney Labs. Go to their website. I just ordered a bunch of the extras that didn't come. And if I had known, you can actually get Pyramid Arcade plus like all of the extra stuff. But one of the extras that you can get just on its own is so we have Pyramid Arcade. Let me go to that page. Oh, it's in the online. I want to go to the online store here. And if we go to the Looney Pyramids products, the Pyramid Arcade bundle, it's the same price as just Pyramid Arcade, but it includes all of this other stuff, including Kickstarter green pyramids. So it's light green as opposed to the dark green that are in the game. Also the green that's in the game, they are translucent, whereas these ones are opaque. And then it also has a game set of pink hijinks. So it's all you need to play the game Hijinks in just one little pouch, but it's all pink pieces, and that game is really great because you can play that with the regular pyramid set. And then it also has some extra game rules for sand ships, a bunch of extra cards, but not necessarily the pieces that you need to play those games or the rules to play those games. But if you want to set it into the mode where you play a whole bunch of the pyramids games for an evening or whatnot. And yeah, I just really recommend this game. I haven't played all of the games yet, but I really enjoyed the I think we played 5 or 6 different games, and we didn't even touch the Zark City deck. There's a few games you can play with that. And then there's a whole bunch. The Martian Coasters or Looney Ludo, I think is the new name for that. And I even went over to the Container Store because they said in the instruction manual, hey, if you get this tin, it fits exactly this many pieces, and it's great to take on the go if you want to play if you want a more mobile version of what you got here. So I am way into this instantly. I like it a lot, and I might get this Pyramid Arcade bundle. I might order that to give to my sister and her family, so I don't have to take my set over there. They just will have their set, and then I'll have mine, and then I don't have to transport it. I just can play it at either place. But anyway, yeah, that's why I was playing that a lot today. Why I got really sidetracked there, but yeah, I did enjoy these both of these episodes. It's not as much to talk about as Raw was this week, but I think that's kind of, in a way, that's a good thing, because it means it wasn't as dumb. There was some dumb stuff, but it wasn't like super dumb, and there's some really exciting things. We didn't have any returns or surprise appearances on Raw. It was just I guess the Liv Morgan return is the thing, but I think the Usos returning is a lot more exciting, at least for right now. Like, the context of the return is a lot more exciting. I wouldn't say that Liv Morgan, the idea, just Liv Morgan returning in general is exciting, but the way she did, we'll have to see how that turns out. And here I am turning the conversation into talking about that and Lana's wedding and all of that. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm excited to hear more of Elias's songs next week. This is 2 weeks in a row. I like that pattern that's developing. Although this week he did not sing at the top of the show. I really, really like that about last week, but that's okay. Instead, before the opening music, the opening title sequence or whatever, we had The Miz demanding of Daniel Bryan, you've got to take down the Fiend. Like, whatever you got to beat him. So that was pretty interesting. And now with John Morrison in there, these two, I'm excited. I'm pretty excited for SmackDown. So we'll see where all this goes going into Royal Rumble. I think a lot of starts were here with the beginning of the new year. All right, let me know what you thought. I am absolutely intending on watching NXT UK and recording an episode about it. So watch out for that real soon. In fact, I'm going to watch it right now. As soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to watch it while I'm getting this episode posted. So stay tuned for that. We got more coming around the mountain when she comes. So let me know what you thought about these episodes by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.